Hey, Sean, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. All right.
Yeah, I really like Sean. It's been a pleasure doing business with him. And I noticed when he pulled up that he was driving to Tacoma, pulling this little dump trailer. And I drive a Tacoma, and I've been looking at a similar setup. And so I'm really paying attention to what he's doing here. I noticed that he can't spin that thing around, so he's got to back it off. But he's got it kind of setting that rear wheel in a rut. And looks like the trailer lifts his truck just a little bit. But anyway, hardly any brake over there, so he just rolled it right off. Sean really seems to enjoy these machines. He talks so positively about them, and he gave me a thorough walk around before this, but now he's jumping in to give me a demo of the operations. And he's kind of talking to me as he's doing it, telling me about what he's doing here. And he's kind of demonstrating that the operator controls, they can be sensitive, but you can also feather them pretty well. And he kind of demonstrates that. He's doing slow movements. So that's the basic bucket, boom, stick, thumb. And it looks like he's going to the swing pedal for the boom swing. Anyway, so he's showing me here that he can kind of reach out and just barely touch the ground. It's not jerky or anything. He's moving kind of slow. He's going to swing over here on the other side and do it where you can see it, but he's just basically just scratching the ground. Just moving so slow. But he's showing me that you can make very fine movements. All right, enough of that. Looks like he's going to go to the walking controls here. And he's showing me turtle and rabbit. And then turtle, rabbit. The machine does move pretty good. I've been on it just a little bit now, and I like how it moves. All right, Sean brought his drone. He was trying to get some footage, I think, but I don't know what he got. But I asked him to fly the drone up and look down at my place so I could kind of get some overhead views. And this is the little homestead here. And you can see it, the excavator right there at the end of the driveway. And as he was getting ready to go, he told me to pose and he took a picture. He stayed for quite a while. We talked quite a lot about different things. And like I said, he's a really great guy. I really enjoyed doing business with him. And he left shortly after this. Well, I ended up walking this thing down the driveway closer to the house. But the storm was kind of starting right when he left, and it got wet pretty soon after that. So there she sits. All right, this is the next day, I think, and it's been drizzling quite a lot. The ground's definitely got moisture in it. We haven't really had the water running yet, but as soon as this stuff gets wet, this desert clay, it gets really sticky. So I didn't want to run the thing in the mud, so I'm sipping a cup of coffee and just kind of anticipating what things I might be able to get into when I get a chance. We had an afternoon where the sun was out for a bit and the ground was dry enough that I could walk around out there, so I figured I'd get out there and fire the excavator up and see what I could do with it. Here you can see I'm starting with 1.6 hours. So I got in there, fired it up. And I've never operated excavator control, so this is all kind of new to me. But it's pretty straightforward, and I'm kind of taking Sean's lead, and it looks like I'm going fast because it's time lapse, but I'm actually kind of moving kind of slow. And here I'm fumbling around these little rocks trying to see if I can pick them up. And we'll find out later that it was a little bit of a mistake. But anyway, I got the hang of the boom and the bucket and the stick pretty well in rotating with the house. Like I said, I'm moving slow, and it looks good in the time lapse. But I did notice that whenever I wasn't paying close attention to my inputs, that I would start to get jerky. So I think I could spend quite a bit more time just learning to finesse the controls. And so here I'm kind of chewing up the ground here. It's not like digging dirt, where you can just kind of cut through. So I was taking bites at the ground and just playing around with different functions. So trying out the dozer there. While I was doing that, I kind of noticed that my thumb looked a little off, so I jumped off and took a look at it. And here you can see that, yeah, looks like I bent that sucker a little bit just from playing around with, I think it was that one rock that I picked up. And I'm going to take a look at this thumb a little bit later and show you that it really needs a modification, because I had seen this problem occur on another one, and in my case, I wasn't lifting anything heavy, doing anything weird, and basically the little rock I was picking up just kind of rolled a little bit to the side, and the machine has so much power, the tip of the thumb just rolled right with it, and it was like it bent so easy, even though it is a really stout thumb. So definitely needs some kind of a brace or something in there, but I'm going to get to that later. All right, so I'm just going to keep playing with the excavator, see what I can do with the bucket and the dozer blade. And I was impressed with how well the digging went earlier on with the bucket, and I was able to cut through this really rocky soil. I was impressed with that. And at this point, I'm trying to figure out how to slice thinner layers. And with the rocks in there, the bucket doesn't cut, real easy. And so I'm just trying different things and can't decide if I want to move material out of the way or if I want to push it out of the way. But I'm just playing with all the functions and learning how to operate the machine, so it's all good. I was actually surprised how well I was able to adapt to walking with the pedals instead of with the hand controls. So I was kind of doing that here, and I really like this machine. All right, I was getting kind of tired of looking at that bent thumb, so I figured I'd try to bend it back. And it occurred to me that if I pushed on it from the other side with the teeth working against it, that I could kind of reverse the action that bent it in the first place. And this little short crowbar is moving it. Put a little more muscle into it. Got some movement there, I think. Maybe a little more. Alright. Then I checked it against the boom, and I think I overbent it just a little bit. So this time I used the bigger bar to pull it from the other side and just bring it back just a little bit. And I think that pretty much did it right there. All right, I checked them. They looked pretty good, and I decided I wanted to figure out what the clearances were if I wanted to put a brace in between those two tines. So here I'm just kind of marking everywhere where I can see that it's going to hit something. And in this case, I'm noting the boom in the bucket teeth. And this is with the bucket fully curled up there. Thinking there might be room for a little gap right there between the bucket tooth and the boom. But as I move the thumb, you can see that there's just no clearance there for anything. So I'll go through the motions here. Just kind of checking it along its path. Yeah, so it's pretty clear that there's no clearance there. And everything up to where the bucket teeth is too close to the boom. So here I'm rolling it back, and I'm going to check the clearance against that cylinder there. Just going to mark that. And then next I just put a little piece to locate where the thumb is already braced, that one rod that goes across there. And finally, I'm putting a piece here where I think a brace could go. Thinking a piece of 1/2-inch blade, or I don't know, 3/8, about that length. All right. So then I kind of took some measurements just to see, and you can see the red lines are the edges of the tape where the interference happens. So you can see that where I've located here is well clear of those areas. I also took a measurement just to see how far apart the thumb tines are. And I don't really know if that's any kind of welding that I'll be able to do myself, so I'm gonna look around to see if I can find somebody, or maybe hire somebody to do that. But in the meantime, I can still use the machine without the thumb. I can get a lot of practice and stuff. Here I'm just playing around in the driveway again. So I was talking to my uncle, and he asked me what I was going to name her. And, you know, I hadn't really thought about anything like that. Not something I typically would do, but I kind of like the idea. So I thought for a while, and I decided I'm going to call her Cora.